Hello to all of my beautiful new friends. I am so excited to be here today and be sharing this story with you. This is a highly requested video, especially after my last Instagram post. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I will link it here. So today I'm going to be talking about my physician assistant school story and how I actually did not get in the first time that I applied. So if you are interested in this, then keep on watching. But first, I have a very important thing that I've forgotten. This is just gonna be a chatty video, so grab yourself a cup of coffee or, watch this while you eat dinner or whatever, and sit back and relax, because I'm gonna tell you my story. I'm gonna go over my stats because I had some people ask, and I actually, you guys, I went and I logged back onto CASPA pretending like I was applying just so that I could access my old application, because honestly, I don't remember my GRE scores or things like that. I was like, what was that? 15, 16, 4 years ago. Whew. Anyways, so yes, so we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go over my biggest tips on applying. In no way, shape, or form am I a PA school mentor. Am I trained in this? I am just gonna go through my experience, and now, granted, this was like 3 or 4 years ago now, and I know things have changed a lot. So if you have questions specifically about CASPA or the application process, and I don't feel comfortable answering those, I will leave some other people that I know are very capable of answering those for you. If you haven't heard of like the Posh PA, Michelle Nesky, I know she does a lot of mentorship and mock interviews and things like that, so she's a really good resource. But let's just jump into it. We're gonna just start back. I started off with wanting to go to school for medicine, period. I had no idea what I wanted to do. They make you choose your major right off the bat, which I know is like so scary for so many people. And I had no idea. So when talking to a guidance counselor, they told me to choose allied health sciences because it would cover a lot of my basic sciences, since I knew I wanted to go into medicine. Along the way, I learned that allied health sciences was more geared toward physical therapy. And this was in my first year. I was a freshman. And so I was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. Like, I could do physical therapy. And so I went down that route for a while. And it wasn't until my second year, my sophomore year of undergraduate, that someone actually brought up in I think I was sitting in like general chemistry or something, and someone started talking about physician assistant. And I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that before. And they explained it to me and started telling me, oh, well, you better start thinking about getting hours because you need so many patient care hours and all of this stuff. So I looked into it and I realized that sounds like a really good route. And mind you, I was going into my third year of school. So I switched majors my third year, my junior year of undergraduate degree, and I switched from allied health sciences into biology. And I did that because after researching a little bit more, it seemed as if with allied health, I would be taking a lot of the science classes required, but I would fulfill my allied health major, and on top of that have other classes I would still have to take, and that was a heavy course load to have to take all of those allied health classes plus the classes required for PA school that weren't covered in that major, if that makes sense. So I switched to biology because it covered all the classes I would need for the various PA schools. Got my major in biology. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. Got my major in biology. I minored in Spanish. I graduated in 2015. And so then at the end of 2015 was my plan to start applying to PA schools. I didn't have time, I felt, and I didn't have enough hours or anything during my senior year to actually apply so that I could go straight into PA school. So regardless, I was kind of taking a gap year. I forgot to mention as well that during my senior year of college, of undergraduate, I ended up getting a job as a patient care assistant. Now, I went about this by getting my certification as a nursing aide. And in Ohio, you can either do like a 3-week class, or I think you can prolong it, but I did the really short where it's like 1 week class, and then you do a half a week of clinicals, and then you've got your you take your tests and stuff, and then you've got your certification. So I did that the summer between my junior and senior year. And then my senior year, I worked at a hospital down here as a patient care assistant at a children's hospital. And I was doing that part-time. I was serving tape and waiting tables part-time for extra money, and then I was also obviously in school. So then, fast forward, graduated. I applied to school in 2015, and I, as you know, did not get in. I ended up applying to 10 schools, and that's a lot of money. I think I got 2 interviews my first year, and I was just not prepared. I did not have any idea, nor did I have much guidance and I'm not blaming anybody. It was just a new thing at my school and not something that a lot of people went into yet. So I did not have a lot of guidance on how competitive it was and how much you really needed to prepare for the application and all of that. So I didn't get in. And at first, I honestly was super disappointed, super sad. I definitely cried. I felt like a failure. I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I debated, should I look for something in research and do something in research, which I could do with my degree without having to go back to school, or should I pursue PA school again? And well, now I'm here, so you know that I pursued PA school again. So once I decided to apply again, then this time around I knew how competitive it was. I knew how much it was going to cost me, and I kind of had a better idea of what all it entailed and what I needed to do to get accepted, or at least what I thought. So what I changed was I went out and I got another job. I had actually quit my patient care assistant job just because I was serving so much and I needed the money from serving. I needed it to pay my bills, and so at the time I did not realize how important the patient care hours were. So I actually quit at the end of 2015 thinking I was going to get into school and all of that too. So I ended up having to apply for another patient care assistant job, and luckily I got the one like of my dreams on the postpartum unit, mother baby unit. So I got to work with newborns and new moms, and I did that for over a year. So I racked up a ton more patient care hours. Now, I don't think I mentioned, I took my GRE before I applied in 2015, but after I had graduated from undergrad in 2015, I took my GRE. Again, I'll go over my stats here at the end, but I did not do very good on the GRE. I didn't prepare for it. I didn't study for it. In my mind, I was like, this is just a generalized test, a generalized graduate test, and I should be able to do this. I just finished my degree. You know, I shouldn't really need to study. People study, like look over some stuff at least. I didn't do anything, and I did okay. Like I passed it obviously, but it was not a strength for me. So going into applying my second time, I knew I did not want to take my GRE again. So that was kind of my weakness on my application. So I had to come up and have other strengths on my application when applying the second time. So instead of taking the GRE again, I racked up more patient care hours. I actually got all new letters of recommendation. I wrote a new essay, because you have to write a new essay every year. But I definitely made it like more genuine and just more me instead of trying to make a forced essay. And so yeah, those are the big 3 things. The biggest thing was getting more hours. And then my GPA was already good, and I had enough shadowing and volunteering, so that was good. And I think I applied to only like 5 schools, and instead of applying to a bunch of like dream schools and out-of-state schools like I did the first time, I applied to 5. I think I did like 1 or 2 out-of-state, and then the rest were in-state. I got 2 interviews. I went to the first one, they accepted me within that week, and so I did not go to the second one knowing that I wanted to go to the first school, and I wanted to give other people the opportunity for the second school. I didn't want to waste an interview spot. Yeah, so that's my story, and quickly I will go over my stats, which you guys, I applied, like I said, 2015, and things have changed so much, so I would not go necessarily by what I'm about to tell you. Like I said in the beginning, I am not a CASPA mentor. I do not know much about how things are now. All I know is it's competitive. So I'll start with my GPA, because that's what I was the most proud of. I had a 3.7 GPA, and my science GPA, I don't honestly know. So that was my GPA. For my patient care hours, I had 1,500 when I applied, but the first time I applied, I had 500. Now this was at a point where some of the applications said no requirement necessary for patient care hours, and other ones said 500 was the minimum. So I thought with my 500, I'd be okay. I was wrong. So I went back and got almost 1,000 more hours, which I think really helped me. Then my GRE, I don't even know how you really calculate it, to be honest. I think my total was 302. On my quantitative, I got 150. I was in the 40th percentile. At my verbal, I got 152. This was 54 percentile. And then my writing, I was in the 80th percentile, so that was okay. And then lastly, the last little two, the volunteer hours, I had 190 hours. And then my shadowing, I had 31 hours. So I don't know the minimums anymore for a lot of the schools. So if it sounds like my hours and things are off, they might be from what you need to get now. But I had some questions on that, so I just wanted to go over that quickly. And again, I don't even know where to compare. I was gonna say, I don't wanna act like I'm bragging, but I honestly don't even know if my stats are that good for what is needed now. If they're not good, please don't make fun of me. I am where I am now, so it is what it is. And I don't think your stats define you anyways. I think your interview is a big portion and your essay is a big portion too. They look for the kind of person that would be good as a PA, period. They don't look for just smarts. So, I've barely drank this. Be amazing! Okay. Now, lastly, I just wanted to go over a couple tips for applying to PA school or reapplying. And again, these are general tips. These are not specific things. This is from my experience, from what I went through and what helped me. Okay, so number one, the biggest thing I think for me that helped me from when I did not get in to when I did get in were my hours, my increase in hours, because I had a good GPA. And honestly, the first time my essay wasn't that bad. You know, my GRE score was what it was, blah, 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 blah. But I think the biggest difference was the amount of hours I had, just plain and simple. And then again, kind of like I mentioned, if you're slacking in one area of your application, then make sure that you make up for it with strengths in other places. So my GRE was lacking, both. So I made sure that I made up for it with my hours and my essay and my recommendations, everything else pretty much. I made sure I had a strong application elsewhere so that if they saw my GRE score, they can kind of overlook it. And then third little tip is to be genuine with your essay. The first time I wrote my essay, I forced it, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is the kind of thing they're gonna want to hear. That's kind of going about it the wrong way. So the second time, when I wrote my essay, I really wrote, because I think, what is it, like, why do you wanna be a PA? Or why do you wanna, I think? And so I genuinely wrote what it meant to me, what I had gone through to get to where I am, things like that. So I made it a lot more genuine, not necessarily just what they wanted to hear. I made it portray part of my personality and who I am. And I think the school that I got into commented on my essay, so that made me feel good. Last but not least is if you are applying for a second or a third time, do not give up. Or if you don't get in your first or second time, do not give up. It's so competitive now. If you look back, I didn't even go to the second interview my second time applying. I only got into one school, and now I graduate in 2.5 months. I'm about to sign up for my pants, and it's just crazy. It only takes one person to believe in you, and it definitely takes you to believe in yourself. So just know, if you are applying or reapplying to PA school, that you've got this. If you can think it, you can do it. And if you've made it this far and you have an application that you're willing to submit in the first place, then I know that you have what it takes. I mean, you wouldn't get patient care hours, you wouldn't go through a science major, you wouldn't do all of that if you didn't want to be a PA, and if you weren't gonna make a good one, because a lot of what it takes to be a PA is just dedication. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and like this video if you want more PA, physician assistant school, medicine kind of videos. They don't have to all be talking either. maybe I can do like a Q&A or something. Let me know. But I am so happy I got to sit down and do this for you guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.